Good day, sir.
I greet you.
My name is Omale Omasi Samuel. Sir, can we get to know you, sir?
Well, I'm Dr. Emmanuel Ojukwu. I'm the retired commissioner of police. Right now, I'm a consultant on security, public relations, and psychological services. I'm also the provost of the police public relations school in Lafayette.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Good to see you, sir.
Sir, considering your position in the society and experience having served as PRO under 5 Inspector General of Police, you were and still exposed to a lot of information that is not available out there for people. Please tell us, what are the major challenges militating against the proper security of lives and property in Nigeria?
Well, thank you for that question. I was in the police for a little over 32 years, more than half of my life on policing. And I served in over 16 states of Nigeria. I was also privileged to serve on a foreign mission, the United Nations peacekeeping operations in Kosovo. I've been on a number of courses. I've interacted with so many police officers from within Nigeria and across the globe. As it were, such experiences over the years have enabled me to have a hands-on information on what is going on in Nigeria police and on what is impacting negatively on the tone of security nationally in Nigeria. When I was first PRO under 5 different IGs, as you mentioned, I had so much information at close quarters. I got to know the thinking of the leadership of the police and some of their headaches and challenges. I tell you, there are many issues in Nigeria police which the public may never get to know except somebody puts them in writing. And such challenges, some are homegrown, some are internal, but a lot more were imposed on the police, first by its foundation, two, by the attitudes of various governments in this country, from civilian government to military, largely. Then again, issues of funding and all that. You're talking about insecurity of lives and property in this country. Police primary assignment is actually to protect life and property of every citizen, every resident in this country, Nigeria. But you cannot give what you don't have. For you to be able to protect somebody's security, afford safety for his life and property, you have to afford yours. If you are not safe yourself, you can't give what you don't have, my friend. The police themselves are not safe. Nobody has cared, actually. And I say this without mincing words. People have not cared about the police. I've seen policemen die and people just flip through the pages as if nobody died. Some time ago, 52 policemen were killed one night by Boko Haram. The police were mourning. As first PRO, I published an obituary mourning these 52 policemen. I was given a query. Why should you mourn policemen? That means that no, people don't really care about the police so much. The police wasn't formed as a friendly body. That's what they are making. The colonial government, colonial masters over Nigeria imposed police on Nigeria. And they were using the police to serve their purposes. So over the years, Nigerians saw police as aggressive, oppressive, an enemy. But you are enemy to your own person. But the times have passed now. We are not in a civilian era, in a democracy. The police are our police. We have never on our own crafted a law called Police Act to guide our own police. The Police Act is working today, 2020, was the Police Act made in 1943 by the colonial masters. So Nigerians have not really created their own police and are blaming the police for this. You've not given me the enabling environment. You've not given me the go-ahead, except for that one paragraph, Section 214 of Nigerian Constitution, there shall be a police force. Simple. Nothing more. The meat of policing, the act and regulations you have not given, and you are blaming police for everything. So the police are not safe themselves, and they cannot give safety to anybody. It's what you have, you give. When you treat me as a citizen with disdain, as if I'm rubbish, I'm a footmat, my brother, I have the right to say no. Because this country, all of us were born to this country, and I have the right to claim my right as a citizen. So, talk about security of life and property. The police have not been secured. They cannot give much. The wherewithal, the equipment, the materials, the morale to make them work for Nigerians has not been given. So they are kind of handcuffed from day one. And that affects what we do. So no matter how you cry about insecurity and all that, and you want the police to do a magic, they cannot do magic. And over time, Nigerians, I've seen Nigerians to always panic in making decisions. Many governments, I'm over 60 now, many governments in this country do not think deeply about issues before they make decisions. I tell you, regarding the police, they've come over the years to cannibalize the police, decapitate it, cover functions police was doing, and give to others, saying the police is not capable over the issue of a drug. You create drug law enforcement, you send the policeman to head it. Police is not good about economic crime, you create EFCC, you send the policeman to head it. Are we not being hypocritical? You carve out some areas of traffic, you give to road safety, but road traffic act is still there. If there's any problem of road traffic in this country, you still call the police. Meanwhile, you have cut out that function, give it to somebody else. The money you should have given to the police, you give to that group. Overnight, you just saw Nigerian Security Civil Defense come from nowhere. One day, pararam, they are there to do the same police duty. We are not fair to the system. By the time you keep cannibalizing it, you are not giving the manpower it requires, the wherewithal to perform. The blame should not be with the police, actually. And because we are in such a hurry, as I said earlier on, the military were in government for more than 30 years in this country. And they see themselves as the Lord over this country, which is a shame. Military are for territorial integrity, to protect the sovereignty of this country, not for internal security operations. But they've got themselves so much involved in internal security. And Nigerians think that it is normal. It is grossly abnormal. We have over the years killed our military, and some of them are basking in it. They think they're just dying in installments.
But sir, people argue that it's the failure of the police that brought out military from the barrack. What do you have to say to that?
The military came on its own because we had military government for many years. They were in government, they were ministers, they were governors, they were everything. And it was job for the boys. Instead of concentrating on their main job, they found internal security very, very lucrative. As we speak, you and I speak today, in all the 36 states of Nigeria and FCT, you have military doing rudimentary law enforcement duties, which is not their tough. They don't have such training, and so they keep on brutalizing Nigerians, dehumanizing them, militarizing our democracy, making Nigeria a mockery. The military imposed that on itself, not the inefficiency of Nigeria police. Because if you want the system to work, you provide the wherewithal for it to work. You are looking for an excuse to give a dog a bad name, to hang it. The police are not dogs. We have dogs, but we're not dogs. That name must not stick on the police. Nigeria has not done what it ought to do to the police. The police are not just your friend, as we normally say. The police is your baby. The way you dress your baby is the way you will be addressed. If you dress a baby properly at Christmas or at Salah, people will say this is a good, somebody's fine baby. But Nigerians have dressed their police in tatters. Nigerians have rejected their police. They've not given their police proper assignments, and they're calling them names.
Sir, from the look of things, even the police themselves, from the hierarchy, they don't complain. What do you have to say to that?
Well, the police was formed as a regimental organization. And under the constitution that we operate, 1999 constitution, the police could be seen, but they should not be heard. There's no union in Nigeria police. There's no police union. If somebody has a grievance, ordinarily in a democracy, you should ventilate it. You should make a complaint, but not in the police. The law has silenced them. You beat a child and ask the child not to complain. That is very unfair. So you think that people are boiling inside. There's so much trauma. There are no psychologists in Nigeria police. People are going through a lot. You go for operations for days and weeks, no allowance paid. A policeman dies, is cast aside, is thrown out of his barrack, the family thrown out for somebody else to come because there are no barracks. Everybody is mourning in Nigeria police. So they are hurting, but there's no way to ventilate it. And that is why, except you address the fundamental problem of the morale of Nigeria police, of their psychological well-being, their mental well-being, you can never rule out issues of displacement of aggression. Because where he cannot complain, is bottled up. Somehow, he must let off steam. And that steam will be let off on a member of the public, further antagonizing the police with the public.
So am I right to say that is that transfer of aggression we are seeing on the streets, on the civilians?
It could be part of it. It could also be professional misconduct. It could also be as a result of deficit in training. Many policemen are not trained, properly trained the way they should be trained. I was in police college for some time and I've seen what the kind of training they give our policemen. The materials are not there. Accommodation is not there. Nothing is working. And so you just push boys there to train them 9 months, they come out raw, knowing nothing and therefore affording nothing. The chances of mistake are very high. Over the years, governments of the day, when they come, they want to reform the police. They set up Dammadami Commission, headed by a retired DIG, the next one by a retired IG, MD Yusuf, the next one by a retired DIG, Pario Sayende. These were officers who went through the thick and thin of policing. And they went through the policing, and based on hindsight, they informed government in voluminous reports about how to turn around the police, our police, for our betterment. I tell you, no government, except recently, no government has ever laid premium on those reports. They are gathering dots. You write white paper, nothing happens. I think 2015 or thereabout, under the government of Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, he himself set up Pario Sayende Committee. They wrote a report about the dilapidation, the shame that is called police training institution. And somehow a TV channel carried the horrible condition of police college Ikeja. And the president felt insulted, he felt embarrassed. Maybe he thought the opposition were at it to mess him up. And he went there in anger. When he got to police college Ikeja, what he saw made him afraid. What he saw, I guess he must have wept internally. President don't weep openly so much, to show the level of wrath. In such a situation where policemen in training don't have good food, there are 500 in a class, have run courses, 30, 50 per class. That is normal. But this one, 500, without public address system, they are not sitting. They don't have writing material. They live in bunkers, bare floor, no bed. They go to toilet in the bushes. I mean, policemen, they eat like animals. You don't breed men like animals and they expect them not to behave like Rottweiler.
So what you are seeing is garbage in, garbage out. Am I right to say?
Garbage in, garbage out, laced with wickedness. Not just another garbage. Putting garbage with cyanide so that if a scavenger enters there, putting garbage with time bomb. So if a scavenger is looking for metal, he picks it, he dies. It is dangerous garbage in, and what comes out is what Nigerians are experiencing. So they shouldn't blame the police. Let us blame ourselves. Let us look inward to reform our police, give them equipment, the wherewithal, and proper income. I retired in Nigerian police. I joined the police with a master's degree. My pension today is 73,000 naira a month. I retired as commissioner of police.
You mean it?
That is life. Then tell me the motivation of somebody who is serving. What does he expect to see thereafter? Officer retire and die, except the person is corrupt. But if you work as diligently as a normal human being, you come out in penury, deep penury, and that doesn't stimulate those who are serving to give up their best. We don't give police living wages. Nigeria police are the poorest paid in Africa. Put me anywhere.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next stage.